Hey guys. All right, so I'm gonna have to sidetrack now and to start to talk about a different topic because the thing with kind of self pity fest is no fun at all. Because, like I said, always you're gonna have to keep an optimistic mind and whatever it is, just have a laugh about it. That's what I usually do because like I said, not that I said it here, but I did pin down some of my thoughts because life is a tragedy. Tragedy is very simple. So the only way is just to make it comical about it. So it will become a comedy in the end. Because, what they said about Shakespeare is that tragedy such as King Lear, Macbeth, Romeo and Juliet, of course. And the thing is, tragedy is actually simpler than comedy. Comedy such as um, like Merchant of Venice, that's much harder because it's only in a comical way that you find a true meaning of it. A lot of truth was really conveyed through humor, and humor was so important. So what it was, it just let's stop about the self pity thing, because what it was is you're really gonna have to find the best out of it. So what? Oh, actually, I switched sides. So now that it's my bookshelf, I used to have a huge painting over here. It's called Thule. That's four of them. One is over here, and Thule. It means the northernmost continent, or it's a mythological place. So the thing is that what it was is that I really love this painting, but oftentimes I just couldn't hold it because this painting has some kind of magic power to it. Every time I had it over here, it has something that's just like it exudes the kind of power to me, and then on the other hand, it absorbed my power to the point that, and because I was telling you about visual hallucination, it was pretty freaking scary sometimes looking at this painting. On the other hand, it is my favorite painting. It was just like it's a visual rhapsody, a complete rock and roll on a painting surface. But on the other hand, I couldn't hold it. It's just too strong, or maybe this room is too small, or something. So I rather just to ask him to go to the other room, go to my studio. I rather have this empty wall over here. So that's what it was. Oh, I was gonna talk about. Um, I was gonna talk about religious revelations. Because on the one hand, that um, you really think about it, because I had gone through a lot of these spiritual experiences. On one hand, that because I don't believe in superstitions. Um, what I think it was that honestly, I think the ecclesiastic institution of the church, the temple, the shrine, everything. I think it was a bunch of rackets. Basically, they're racketeers. Just that. So that's not a good thing, because like what I always believe, that it's actually, if you go spiritual, that God is in here. It's in here. It's not out there in the effigy, or any kind of things that you worship, because all they want to just ask you for money. Or in the church, it was like paying the tithe and things like that. So, but all in all, it's just it ain't gonna work like that. So so this is why I refuse to go to any religious institutions. But on the other hand, it's not that I'm not spiritual. Any person could be very spiritual, and because you do, after all, have a soul. I don't know if a fish or a turtle have a soul. Probably, I think dogs and cats do have souls, because I used to have a really cute kitten. I'm really good with animals for some reason. Anyway, so what I was talking about, especially when you're in on the thread of life and death situation. I was saying about when you're completely bedridden in bed, and you just feel like, oh God, my Koopa. And because we're all sinners and I reflect about it, there's so much stuff going on. And then, please receive me. And all of a sudden, every time I was going through this experience, and it's almost like there's always a saving angel over there, be it as my friends or my girlfriend at the time, or any other girlfriends. Or just the other day, I was like completely out of it. But I was like walking like a zombie through the main street, and then all of a sudden I bump into what I always like to call Brother Leo is God's people. And all of a sudden that he was over there, he received me, and then he just like, all right, let me pray for you. Oh, I was just like, oh, thank you very much. So I received God, and then of course, and this not that I received the God of his church and things, but I do appreciate these people out there. Yeah, getting back to religious experience that I mentioned about, because I'm still very fond of Taoism. So, being fond of Taoism, yeah, this is the two books that I read during my experience. Bao Pu Zi. This is a pretty ancient book about like Han Dynasty. So this book is like almost 2,000 years old. Well, not this book, but I mean the content of this book. So basically, you're gonna read through this whole thing because they have if you read through the menus, everything, it talks so much about a way of life and a lot of almost like menus for Chinese medications. So actually, I try some of these as well because there are a lot of Chinese medicine stores around here. So that was pretty interesting, but to the point that I got too involved in it, and it just it got my girl kind of upset about it because all of a sudden because if you think about she was with me when I was in high school and college, so and at the time that she was really good with me, that we were together for almost like 3.5 years, and of course, there's certain reason. Of course, I had my ups and downs at the time. That was the first time I knocked out my front teeth because skateboarding, because I was doing tricks, and then my mom was like very curious about the fact. So when she was in Soho, she saw other dudes skateboarding. They all averaged the age about my age. Like at the time, it was like 20. Their age is about 20, 21.